Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, our objective is to learn how to graph horizontal facing parabolas using our graphing calculator. So parabolas that are opening left and right. Remember that when we have a parabola that opens left and right, that means the y is being squared, as you see here in this example. So we started off kind of simple for y'all. Let's think about what we're given. We have y minus 4 quantity squared equals 8 times x minus 3. And so in this case here, we see that we have 4, 3 being our vertex. 3, 4 being our vertex. 3, 4 being our vertex. And then we have that the value of 4p is 8. So that means the focal length of p is going to be 2. And it's going to be positive. So that means it's going to be opening to the right. Well, let's think about what we're going to be doing here on our graphing calculator. As you know, you can't really just graph an x equals function. So now we're trying to figure out how can we utilize a y equals graph to represent something that really is an x equals function. Well, if you really kind of think about what a parabola is, especially when it's opening left or right, I think you would maybe agree that it's really just the square root function reflected over the axis of symmetry. And so let's basically solve for y so we can get the square root. How do I know there's going to be a square root? Well, because when I solve for y, I have to square root both sides. And so we get y minus 4 equals plus or minus square root of 8 times x minus 3. And then we just add the 4 to both sides. So we're going to basically have two equations here, the 4 plus and the 4 minus everything that's underneath the square root. And when you put both of these two equations in the plus and the minus, you're going to get those two separate square root functions. So let's take a look here real quick at what our graph is going to look like. So as you can see here in my y sub 1, my y sub 2, I went ahead and just made my 4 plus and my 4 minus. So you can take a look at exactly how I did there. And then for the window, well, since we had a vertex at 3, 4, we just want to make sure that what we're doing is centering the vertex as much as possible. So that's all I really did when trying to find a good window that worked. I did negative 10 to 10 and on both of them, the standard one to begin with, and it saw most of it. It didn't see it perfectly, but it saw it pretty good. And then from there, you can go ahead and see our graph, and then boom, there are our two square root functions and a rightward facing horizontal parabola.